Alright, so the Hive Beedril division, week 6 starts up tomorrow, so I thought I'd do a quick recap of my first 5 weeks in the league this year. So let's get into it. I'm going to do a quick team builder, like very short, and then a quick recap of the battle. So first week I was against Omega. He had a scary team. Aerodactyl scares the shit out of me. Volcarona is always a huge threat. Garchomp is big. Scizor, he had a lot of huge offensive threats. Uxie is a great stop to Mega Gallade, which is my first pick. Here's my team, by the way. Azumarill screwed me last time I played it, so I just gotta be aware. He has a good team. So the first thing I noticed was 4 attacks. Mega Gallade is really strong against his team, so I brought that. Close combat, Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Ice Punch. Next was Whimsicott because I needed something to encore the Volcarona to stop it from setting up. I needed a defog option, and Moonblast was great for the Zard or for the Chomp. Next, nothing wanted to take hits from Bandit Diggersby, so I brought that. It's a big threat. It can pretty much 2 KO his entire team, which is awesome. Next, I had a Scarf Zapdos, which was to bait in the Aerodactyl and kill it. It also handles the Garchomp well. And, yeah, it's just Volt Switch is good. It's really good against his whole team. Oops. Next was Alolan Muck, so that way if Volcarona actually did get set up, I could kill it with a Rock Slide, take a hit. And finally, I had a Bandit for Alligator, which did work. It could Aqua Jet the Aerodactyl and the Volcarona, which were my 2 biggest threats. Nothing wanted to switch into Waterfall or Ice Punch aside from Azumarill. So yeah. And then I had Iron Tail to... Actually, no, that was a Finny at the time. I was really scared of the Finny. I forgot about that. That used to be Tapu Finny, not an Azumarill. So that was really scary, but, not anymore, because he has an Azumarill now. So let's get into the game. I'm looking at the team. I'm like, alright, I'm just going to predict him to lead with the Uxie, and to stop that, I'll go into Diggersby, get a huge hit off. And that's what I do. So I go for a return, and he knocks me off, unfortunately, but it still does good damage. It does 44%, which is a lot. And then he turns out, and this is a big turn, he goes in the Garchomp, and I get a crit with the return, which stops him from getting rocks up. He has a big analysis of it on his thing. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I'll tell you why in like 3 turns. Because I just quick attack kill him here. I would have returned and killed him there. And I also die. So I go down into my Whimsicott. Yeah. And I make a big boy play by Leech Seeding. As he goes for the Willow, which is what I predicted. And then... So this is why it wasn't a big deal. Because if he had Rocks up, I would have just defogged here. Or no, I would have encored and then defogged. My bad. So on this turn here, where he switches out, or where I double switch, I would have just defogged. The game obviously would have been different, but this is another great play by me. Not to toot my own horn too much, but what I did here was, it's an easy switch for him. I have Whimsicott in, so for him to go into Scizor or Aerodactyl makes sense. If I go into Zapdos and he goes into Aero, he'll think, oh, he was switching to cover for the Scizor. So I go into Zapdos, and he'll stay in thinking that I'm an offensive set to handle the Scizor, when actually I'm offensive Scarf and I take him out with a Thunderbolt, and now the biggest threat to my team is gone, which is awesome. So now he just goes in, goes for a knockoff. I predict that my Whimsicott's pretty much useless now because I can take Volk. So I make the same play. I miss the Leech Seed. It's not really a big deal. I go for another Leech Seed. He kills me with Bug Buzz, and I use this opportunity to go into Gallade, Mega up, get off my Rock Slide, and yeah. I'm looking pretty good at this point. At this point, I know that I don't want to say I have this game in the bag, but I'm liking where I'm at right now. He makes a great play predicting the Poison Jab. I just close combat to get damage off. I don't really know why. I just didn't really want to switch anything in because everything was too useful at this point, like Gallade die. And then he goes in there, I get my Zapdos, and I get a free T-Bolt off whatever I want, and I kill the Finny, which is awesome because Finny was a threat. It's Scarfed, it can do damage. And then he uses this as a chance to get his Volcarona set up, which is a smart play, but I switch into my for Alligator. Don't want to let that happen, so I'm just going to Aqua Jet it. He goes for the Savage Spin Out, which was a misplay. He should have gone for a Bug Buzz. I think it would have killed. And then he could use a Savage Spin Out on Muck, but it's fine. I go for a Rock Slide here. I kill it, which is nice. And then I win because he's not a setup on Scizor, so he can't do anything to stop me. I can go for a knockoff here, and now both things are in range for Zapdos. So now I just switch into Zapdos as he goes for the knockoff. Doesn't matter because I still outspeed. And yeah, so that's the game. Pretty clean 2-0 win. The crit was obviously unfortunate. The game would have been different, but I think I still would have been able to pull it out because I think I had a good matchup. So, the next week, I played Alex, or Corn Rosie O'Donnell, as he's known. And Alex's team, I thought I had a good matchup against. However, at the same time, the thing about his team is he's just super weak to ice. Like, he had Jirachi and Cobalion to take ice attacks, and that's it. So I knew Cryogonal was going to be big this game. I brought a Scarf Cryogonal. Um, and then, other than that, I had Dual Dance Diggersby because it could pretty much sweep through his whole team. I had Swords Dance Gallade because Gallade was huge, which with just its fighting stab and then Ice Punch, it could really put a huge dent in his entire team. And then Muck was there to take on the Rachi and the Sigilyph, which could be a threat, and also the Ampharos, which is a threat against my team. And then Whimsicott just rips a hole through his team with Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and yeah, Moonblast and Shadow Ball. And finally, my Melodic is just a great defensive mon in any situation. Stops Cobalion, stops Landorus. Good counter for Jirachi. So yeah, I was liking my chances going into this match. I destroyed people in a couple mocks. So let's get into it. So I lead with my Diggersby once again. I predict him to not be able to kill me. And so I just go for the Ice Punch, keep it safe, and he switches out Rocky Helmet. I see it's mostly defensive, so that's nice to know. As I switch into Whimsicott, and he makes a nice play and goes to the knock, so I can't actually kill him anymore. So I go for Shadow Ball, predicting the Rachi as he stays in and gets a lot of damage off. I now just go for the safe Moonblast, get damage off on something. And it does a lot, so I'm like, screw it, I'll just stay in again. As he goes for the U-turn, so now I know that he's Scarf, which is great information. So I know that Cryogonal can do a lot of work on his team, so I take it in now. Use this to see what set his Rachi is. From this, I know that his Rachi is mixed defensive. And then I just switch into my Rachi counter, which is my Melodic. He makes a nice play and doubles out into Cobalion. But I can take on Cobalion, which is nice. He makes a nice play and gets Rocks up, as I predict him to go into something as I Toxic. He goes for Swords Dance. I burn first turn with Scald. You'll see this won't matter in a second, but... So I just go for the Scald again. And now I switch out into my Diggersby, just sacking it off. And that's why the burn didn't matter, because he would have killed my Diggersby anyway. And then I go into Gallade and pick up the kill, and I outspeed it regardless, so... Yeah. So that's nice. At this point, I'm down, but I'm still liking my matchup. If I can take out Rachi, then my Cryogonal's looking set to sweep. At this point, I'm assuming this is a DD set, because he has a Scarf Landorus. I go for a nice punch. That eats it. I go into my Muck as he goes for the Leech Seed. And I think I just go for a Poison Jab here. Maybe I go for an Ice Punch if I'm smart. Oh, I go for a Gunk Shot, right. So, I don't want to let this thing set up, so I just go out into my Melodic. He makes a nice play and goes for Dragon Dance. And then he makes a really nice play here and goes out into his Obama Snow. And I have nothing to switch into this, so I just go for another Ice Beam to get damage off on it. He goes for a Wood Hammer. And, yeah. So he's down to the point where I can only take 2 hits from Recoil, or from Life Orb, which is awesome for me. I go into Cryogonal because nothing on his team wants to take it. I go for an HP Fire. It does decent damage. And then here's where Alex makes a big misplay, in my opinion, because I go into Muck, and he doesn't switch out before. So this just lets me get the easy pursuit kill. And if Rachi wasn't dead, this would be a whole different game, because now he can bring in whoever. And I predict him to Dragon Dance, because if he doesn't Dragon Dance, if I'm not Scarf and he Dragon Dance, or if I stay in and he Dragon Dances, he wins. So I switch into Cryogonal, I kill it with an Ice Beam, and at this point I'm thinking that I outspeed and kill the rest of his team, and it's a nice 3-0 win. However, I miscalced, and it lives on 2%, it knocks off my Scarf, and this is an issue because now he can kill me with an Ice Shard. So, Obama Snow is looking like a big threat. Looks like I'm going to have to sack off my Muck to keep it alive, which is scary. And it comes just down to Landorus versus Gallade. So Gallade just needs to live in Earthquake, which does, and I live on 9% and win. So that was a really great game, Alex. GG. So I'm 2-0 plus 3 right now, and next week I play Jarrett, who you may remember I lost to in the finals of Weedle Season 2, sorry. And looking at his team, like nothing survived. Is it? Yeah, he's up here. What's it called? For Alligator wins? Yeah, for Alligator. So my win con is for Alligator. My second win con is Milotic with Light Screen, because nothing can kill me if I have Light Screen. And then I just need up rocks, and then one of these 3 mons will win, so that's why I have Fortress. And then Zapdos and Diggersby are just good mid-game breakers. So let's get into it. I lose my Fortress because I need rocks up. He makes a nice play. And he just Flare Blitzes turn 1, takes me down to Sturdy, but I get up my rocks, which is all that matters. So that's nice. And then I just let him kill me, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he just kills me with a knock. So now I go out into my Gallade and get off, Diggersby, sorry. Get off some nice offensive pressure because nothing can take a hit from me. I U-turn out because I'm smart like that. And I go into my Zapdos, where I go again for a U-turn because I predict him to go into Goodra or Mamoswine, which he does. I see that he's gooey, which is nice info. And then I go out into my Gallade, get some nice offensive pressure up. And actually, I was a weird Gallade set. I was specially defensive, which let me take a Hurricane, and I had enough speed to outspeed the Rotom Fan, so it's a cool set. It wasn't very useful, but I liked it. I'm a big boy, so I go for a Drain Punch, but it was a bad play. And then I go for a Leaf Blade to scare him off. So he switches out, and I go for the Psycho... No, I go for a Drain Punch here. So, and then I'm like, screw it, I don't need Gallade, so I go for a Psycho Cut, and he U-turns out, which is pretty nice for me. I see that he's unaware, which is annoying. So now I go into Milotic, and this is where I start my setup to win. So I go for a Light Screen. No, I go for a Toxic first, because he's unaware and I want to get damage off on him. And then next turn, I go for either a Light Screen or a Recover. Let's see. Yeah, I go for the Light Screen. And then I Recover up here. And then I know that Clefable can't do shit to me, so I switch out into my Feraligatr on his Moon... No, I don't. I Scald. I'm dumb. I Toxic here? No. I do, but I miss. That's really annoying, and it plays in late game. So, you can tell I haven't watched these games too much. So now I have my Milotic in. I go for a Light Screen. He goes for a Moonblast. Now I switch into Feraligatr. Sorry for not explaining it properly. And I know that he is easy setup fodder for me. Except he gets a crit Moonblast, and that really it really marshes my mellow, Not a fan. So, I go for a Dragon Dance. And I know that this game, I have it on lock, pretty much. Do I go for... No, I don't go for another one. I just go for Liquidation. If I had gone for another one there, that was just G's all over the place. I predict him to switch out again, Intimidate spam, but he doesn't. He kills me. Whatever. It's fine. So I go into my Diggersby and get off a nice return on whatever I want. I can just... Oh, I go into Gallade and get off a nice Drain Punch on whatever I want. I don't know why I went to Gallade instead of Diggersby. That was a bad play. And I Sword Stance. Oh, God. What are you doing? Oh, right. That was to make him waste the Z move because he didn't want to miss. Smart plays. See, I know what I'm doing. Now I go into Diggersby, and I can kill whatever I want because I'm Scarf. I end up killing the Incineroar, which is nice. And then he goes out into the Slowbro, probably. Yep, he does. And at this point, I'm like, the game's over. He can't break my Milotic unless he has Taunt on Tornadus, which I don't think he does. So at this point, it's just sort of me playing not to completely choke. So, yeah. Go out into Milo predicting anything but Thunderbolt. And that's not Thunderbolt, so I get off our Recover. That was actually a really bad play. I shouldn't have done that. So I get off our Recover, I get off another Recover. Oh no, I switch, sorry. Because I know I can live a hit. And then I just return on whatever I want. I get a kill here guaranteed, which is nice. So Slowbro's down. Slowbro was annoying, and now it's gone. So I let him kill the Zapdos here, because I don't need it anymore. And then I go back into Milo, I get my Recover off, and then I'm just going to... This is Stolly. You don't need to watch it, but basically it's just me not choking for 20 turns, as I just outstall him with Milo, and proving that Milotic is still the best wall in the game. So my next game, I played Genius, and Genius is a good player, and I was scared. I was really excited to play him. And so first thing I noticed with Genius's team, if I can pull it up, he has a massive Rocks weakness with Scolipede, Houndoom, Dragonite, Torkoal. His only removals was Torkoal and Mew and Rotom, but he's not fucking bringing Rotom. And yeah, so let's get into my team. My team, so I brought Rocks, obviously, first thing. It also It also let me do a couple other cool things that I'll get into later. Gyro Ball and Toxic were so Dragonite couldn't set up. And yeah, I was really scared of Crook. I was also scared of Mega Houndoom. These three. And then I also lose to Mew often. And Torkoal and Victreebel are obviously the red. So that's the team I'm thinking he's going to bring. So, Scolipede is also scary as fuck. And Fortress also stops Scolipede. So then this muck was to make it so Mega Houndoom and the Sun wouldn't sweep my entire team. Because that's something I was scared of. Mega Gallade is just offensively good against him. Toxic was for the Mew. And yeah, I just like its matchup. Specs Whimsicott is great. Trick Room, its Moonblast, Energy Ball, and Shadow Ball just takes out a lot of his team. Trick Room was in case he got set up with one of his Mons or with the Victreebel. Oh, and Muck also stops Victreebel. Scarf Diggersby is good, as always, because Scarf Diggersby is always good. It lets me take out the Houndoom. This is the wrong set. This is actually a Spec Zapdos here, but this was me testing something that I didn't end up using against whoever ABP, because I almost brought this set against ABP, but I didn't. I don't know why it's here. It's on the wrong team. That's fine. But it's Spec Zapdos. So we get into the game. So I need Rocks up, obviously. So I lead with my Rock Setter. Just kidding, I lead with Zapdos. So yeah, I led with Zapdos because I thought he'd lead with Mew, predicting, and then go for a taunt if I'm trying to set up rocks. So this is like the cleanest game you'll ever see. So first turn, you know, we get the nice clean full para, and I'm gonna say this game fucking sucked, and I'm sorry to Genius, but yeah. So second turn, I switch out into Muck. He makes a nice play, goes for Sleep Powder. And then he switches out into Dragonite, and God hates him, so I get the first turn Wake, Ice Punch, Freeze, as, you know, because why wouldn't I? You know, this was just a shitty game. And then he goes into Torkoal, I go for the knock, no, I go for an Ice Punch, then I go for a knock. And because, you know, his luck is still absolute garbage, I get the Poison, and then he misses a Willow next turn, because I had nothing to switch into. And it's just, like, unfortunate how everything played out in this game. So at this point, I'm like, okay, the hacks has put me in such a good situation where I just am going to play not to lose. So I just played an incredibly safe game from here on out. I really don't need to show it. I let him get up his hazards, which was dumb of me, but it's fine. He goes for Endeavor. Killed me a Flame Charge. And yeah. So I got into Galley because I know I can live a hit. I just go for a CC. Grab a kill. He kills me with a crit Weather Ball. I don't know if it mattered. I didn't bother calculating it. And then I go to Whimsicott, get up my Trick Room because he can kill the rest of my team as it is right now. So then I sack off my Fortress. Yeah. And at this point, I know that Zapdos wins. It kills everything with T-Bolt. So it's just unfortunate the way this worked. He gets to sleep on Zapdos. And I get another first turn Wake. And then I just go into Diggersby and kill it. So I'm sorry about this game, Genius. It was shit. I was really excited for this, and you probably would have won that without all that shit happening. Especially the freeze on Dragonite was the bad one. The worst one. So, right now I am 4-0 plus 6. And then my last game was against ABP, and I was fucking terrified for this game. So, the thing about ABP's team is Diggersby and Mega Gallade, fuck it. But Tapu Koko is just such a massive threat against me, and I lost pretty much all of my mocks, and Camerupt, I have nothing to stop most of his offense, so it was just a fucking threat, right? So, my plan was I need to just set up and win. So I had a Dual Dance Diggersby, and then Memento, Stun Spore, Moonblast, Defog. Whimsicott was entirely just to help other things set up. Muck was a fun set. It was Power Up Punch, Return, Stock Power, Cycle. This worked in a total of 1 Mach, but it's fine. It was fun. I had my DD for Alligator, my Swords Dance Gallade, and then Agility, Baton Pass, Substitute, Roost, Zapdos, which was added a total of, I think, 10 minutes before the game started. This was first a Scarf Milotic, and then a Chandelure. And this is actually a Scarf Diggersby. And then at one point, it was that Roselli Dredagon set I showed earlier. So yeah, this game I was really scared for going into. Let's get into it. I lead with I lead with Gallade. And then, it just starts off great. He kills me first turn with a Z move, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. I burned the Z move. It's out of the way. So now I go into Diggersby. I make a nice play going for return for the wrong reasons, but it works. And then I have the greatest Terrakion switching of all time, Whimsicott. Predict rocks, because I'm a god. Just kidding. I defog. I'm actually not faster than the Terrakion, but I bluffed that I was. So I go for the defog. He makes a nice play switching out here. And I switch back on Whimsicott as he goes for the Stone Edge, and he still thinks I'm faster than him, which I'm not. So he goes to Nidoking. I go for Stun Spore. I get pretty lucky here as I switch into Zapdos. And he's full parried. And then this is where stuff happens. I go for a sub. And then I go for an agility, so I now outspeed it even if it's scarfed, which it wasn't because it's air balloon. And then now it was actually supposed to be static, but because I had baton pass, I think, it needed to be pressure. And that really helped me out because he had 2 moves, both of which had 8 PP, so a total of 8 turns, then he was out of moves that he could attack me with. So I just would have burned through those. And then here's where the game dies. I go for a sub. I misclick, go for a second agility, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't break my sub with the HP water. And then I baton pass out into Diggersby. And then he thinks I'm banded. And I set up a Swords Dance. And then I pick up 6 kills with Diggersby. So yeah, that's a game. So right now I am 4-0, 5-0, plus 11. Diggersby has 11 kills, and it's the MVP. And yeah, I'm really excited for the second half of the season. I'm excited for my interview with Ian. He's been doing a great job on the PRs, by the way. Check it out. I had four really good games, and then I also played Genius, which was unfortunate. And yeah, it's been a really fun season so far. So hopefully you enjoyed me talking about nothing. My videos are shit. This is common knowledge. But yeah, so we'll see ya. Who do I play next week? Oh, next week I play this guy. That's gonna be scary as fuck. See ya. Whoop.